Gacy and Bundy are caught. The U.S. faces not one, but two of the worst blizzards ever, and people really shouldn't trust a nut with a cup of Kool-Aid. That's right, folks. We're jumping in the time machine again, and we're winding the clock all the way back to 1978. Hold on to your butts. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It's Saturday, and that means it's time for Super Saturday, the show where we discuss all things super and awesome. And just the other day, I was chatting with my cousin, and he had mentioned a cartoon he loved from back in the day. I thought, hey, why not give that very cartoon a little time in the spotlight, jog some memories, and hopefully put a smile on y'all's faces. So hang on, folks, as we dive into Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets was an adaptation of a Japanese anime series, Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, from 1972. While the Gatchaman series had 105 episodes, over here in America they condensed it down to 85. This was all done by Sandy Frank Entertainment, which y'all might recall from Name That Tune, Face the Music, The New Treasure Hunt, The Bobby Vinton Show, The Bill Cosby Show. Dang, that hasn't aged too well, has it? And The Dating Game. Frank was in Kanei in April '77, where he met the producer for Gatchaman, Tatsunoko. By May, he had been exposed to runaway hit Star Wars and committed to releasing Gatchaman over here in the West. The adaptation of same was generally faithful to the original source material, but of course, they had to do a snip here and a prune there to appease more prudish sensibilities of the states, which included graphic violence, profanity, and so on. They should have left it in, but whatever. Battle of the Planets was by far the most successful anime over here back in the 70s, airing on 100 network affiliates during the after school hours of 1979. The series follows five youngins referred to as G-Force. You got Mark, Jason, Princess, Keop, and Tiny. They protect the planet from Spectra, among other dangers, commanded by the masked baddie Zoltar. But Zoltar was just a pawn of the entity he referred to only as the Luminous One, a disembodied ghostly head floating around. The Luminous One was never addressed in the series, leaving that question mark hanging. G-Force flew around in a ship called the Phoenix, which acted as a carrier for four smaller vehicles. Jason drove the futuristic race car. Princess rode the Galactocycle. Keop operated the space bubble, which could submerge, among other things. And Mark flew a futuristic fighter jet. Tiny got to stay behind and solo the Phoenix while everyone else gallivanted off. The Phoenix itself featured prominently in the series as it was often found going Super Saiyan, bursting into flames and launching all kinds of rockets and lasers to just decimate its enemies. The G-Force, on the other hand, typically resolves things in melee with martial arts and their cerebronic powers. Their costumes were not strictly for show either, as they could be employed to glide or slow their falls with the wings deployed. A popular trope at the time, the team's wristwatches kept them connected as communicators and would instantly transform their garish outfits into something more fashionable, at least in terms of late 70s anime. Not wanting to get pigeonholed with the same tricks and toys all the time, the team also employed Mark's sonic boomerang, Jason and Tiny's multi-purpose gadget guns, Keop's and Princess yo-yo bombs, sharpened feathers, and mini grenades. There were rumors Keop's bizarre manner of speech was done to hide the extensive editing of profanity, hiding the excessive mouth movements behind stuttering, chirping, and burbling. However, this turned out not to be the case. Further, a major change in the character of Zoltar came when he introduced his sister, Malalatros. Astute viewers will note that Latros is an anagram of Zoltar. This is because in Japan, the two characters were the same. The original Bird Katza character was a gender-bending mutant, and obviously, even in the 70s, you couldn't show something like that. Thus, the character was given the split. I can't help but wonder if the network footed the bill for the surgery, but I digress. trying to cash in on that Star Wars gravy train even beyond changing the name from Science Ninja Team Gatchaman to Battle of the Planets. The series added the character of 7 Zark 7, melding an appearance reminiscent of R2D2 and a personality a bit like C3PO. The robot would provide explanatory voiceovers and add a touch of humor to pad the runtime that had been chopped down by all the things taken out during censorship. I mean, editing. Zark had a robotic dog, One Rover One, that would flap across the control room using his tail as a propeller, and an early warning computer complete with sultry female voice called Susan. The show ran until May of 1980, but then was reworked in '86 as G-Force Guardians of Space by Turner Broadcasting, who put a good deal of the edited out material back into the show. This brought it even closer to the original plot and character development of Gatchaman. Running 22 minutes, the series contained 85 episodes that aired for just 1 week in July of '87, in what some consider to have been a test run to clear contractual agreements, but no one knows for sure. It showed up again on Cartoon Network in the '90s and early 2000s, and is widely collected on DVD and other formats. You already know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Get your physical media. And honestly, without physical media, this might very well be one of those shows we vaguely remember but can't find to save our shirt, so there's that. Glancing at online prices, this one's going to run you a bit, unless you want to patiently collect the smaller seasonal releases, so be aware. I saw prices in excess of $50 for a big collection and 20 or more for the smaller ones. As a bit of trivia, there's a comic put out in '78 by Gold Key Comics, if you remember them. This publication run went from June of '79 to February of '81, and there are 10 issues out there. The series was canceled, not surprisingly, by distribution problems as Gold Key's parent company, Western Publishing, had been taken over by Mattel. Yes, that Mattel, who wasn't ready to take on the nuances and headaches of a comic book. There is allegedly art from an unpublished 11th issue out there, sold at auction, if somebody really wants to dive deep into this. In 2003, Dynamic Forces, now Dynamite, collected everything into a trade paperback but removed the color for some reason. It reduced cost or something. Mark Silvestri's Top Cow studio over at Image took a stab at publication as well, making it to 12 issues before being canceled. The series sputtered out a couple more mini mangas, but never found a regular publication home since then. And since it's been 20 years, I don't think anyone should be holding their breath for this one. That being said, with the resurgence of many old school properties like Space Ghost and so on, anything's possible. So be on the lookout and make sure to comment down below if you know of this property slated for anything for the near future. And there you have it, folks, the concise, bite-sized history of Battle of the Planets. I hope I entertained you all, if nothing else, and if I did, might I impose upon you for a like? Just a little thing for y'all, but a big, big thing for the almighty algorithm, and it helps my itty-bitty little channel grow. But thank you all again for tuning in and giving me a moment of your time. I appreciate you. Now, it's Saturday, and it's shaping up to be a beautiful, if hot, Saturday. So get out there, watch yourself a cartoon, keep the tradition alive. While you're at it, pop in a good movie, read a comic, roll some dice, make some memories, do something fun, and as always, have a good one.